is the plant. Okay. Now, what is this? Is that oleander? Or is that another species? I think the leaves are very similar to the oleander. The flowers, they look a little bit like the bleeding heart and the blueberry. And growing right next to the blueberry, it's easy to confuse if you are not a total expert. Very dangerous. So anyway, this is the plant that I made tea with, which was a terrible mistake 3 days ago. And I began to pass out on my recliner chair, and my husband was very, very frightened, and he was shaking on my shoulder, but I couldn't answer anymore, and I had these incredible light patterns in my eyes, like light reflexes, like if you look in the sun and then you look into a dark space, you still see the sun flickering. And that's what happened, but I saw a real large sun. But there was no sun, it was raining and it was dark outside. So it was kind of calming, and then my brain said, my prefrontal cortex said, wait a minute, you're not supposed to see a sun in your eyes right now. Something isn't quite right. It must be the plant that did that. And then I started to panic, and then the panic struggled with this extreme relaxation that was caused by the tea. And and I was like kind of like wobbling up from the chair and going in the kitchen. That's when I told my husband I was going to pass out, and when he brought me to the recliner chair, and on the recliner chair my heart rate went so low. I can imagine it went even lower than when I was in the ambulance. And the ambulance, it was like 50 or something, and my pulse was very low. Normally my heart rate is around 100, and so it must have gone to maybe 20 or lower, because I was going in and out of consciousness. I couldn't talk anymore, and I couldn't move anymore. And if I had fallen asleep, which my husband desperately prevented me from doing, if I had fallen asleep, my heart may have stopped, and then it may have been too late to resuscitate me when the physician comes. So it's important to stay awake as much as you can if that happens to you, and sit up if you can. And I sat up as soon as I could, and try to not go back and not lean back again. And then I took Dr. Schulze's intestinal formula number 2 capsules, the bentonite clay and the charcoal, which covers all the poisons and draws the poisons out, and kind of like wraps itself around the poisons to prevent them from being active in your nervous system. And so I took those, but I had to vomit them out again, and but I think a few stayed in my stomach, which probably saved my life. And so then I had diarrhea and vomiting, and when I was hanging over my toilet, I was getting really scared, and I couldn't see very well anymore. Everything was getting very blurry and dark, and had these light reflexes, and my heart rate was very, very low. It was scary. And so I finally said to my husband, it's better if he calls the ambulance, because I'm not an expert with this. I don't know what to do. I didn't want to die. I want to be there for my dog. And then they came, and I could not even walk out anymore. They had to carry me out, which is very embarrassing, and I felt really sorry because I'm heavy, 250 pounds, and but these people are great, and they're very strong, and they do this all the time, and they had to, I think 10 people had to carry me or something. They had to get a special stretcher or something, to fit all this through the door, and it was awfully dramatic. And my husband and my dog, they followed us, and the hospital was quite hidden. He would not have found out where it was, and I was just really, really cold the whole time, freezing. I wasn't going out of consciousness anymore at that point. And then for about an hour I was recovering in the ER, and my vital signs were starting to stabilize. And as soon as they started to stabilize, I sat up and wobbled out, and I said, oh my gosh, I can walk again. And I said, okay, I'm leaving. And I signed a liability release, and I left. I didn't want needles in my arms, and I'm a holistic girl. So I'm so glad that I didn't have to be taking any drugs or chemicals. So, but I'm extremely grateful that I didn't take too much to completely knock me out. That I drank 3 cups of tea of this, and so that's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. So to make tea out of this here, I would say it has to be extremely stretched, and I can't recommend it, no, because I will get in trouble if I recommend this plant as a medicinal plant. But it is a medicinal plant. I'm sure of this, because I found out that on the internet that it is probably oleander, or it's one oleander species that grows in Oregon. And you can see the flowers. They're like pink bubblegum bubbles. Yeah. Very cute, and they smell very good. They smell like bubblegum, actually. Very, very nice. I love it. I love this plant. I feel a very strong connection to this plant now. It's kind of like, two substances got mixed together. When you take a substance like that, you feel connected all of a sudden, and it's kind of like, when you eat raw foods, and you eat a lot of live food, live vegetarian food, vegetable food, vegan food, raw, and where the cells are still fresh and alive. It's kind of like it's very, very healing. It's very vitalizing, and you feel connected, and then start to feel connected to the plants and to nature.